Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another game of the Living World of Darkness Changeling, the 20th Anniversary Edition. Today we have Caldwell and Alice in the middle of fierce training combat on the fields of Mariposa's battlegrounds, battling it away with swords and daggers, staves and spears, practicing various weapon techniques as they go. Alice, while a practiced swordsman herself, is more nimble on her feet than she is adept at parries, avoiding blows rather than moving in to block them. Diving in, diving out. She's currently dressed like Caldwell in some training armor so that they are nice and safe, and they are not using actual weapons, but rather the training ones, so as to not risk injuring each other.
Yeah, and Caldwell, for his part, um, he is definitely probably much more the same as Alice. He has a certain amount of grace to him. He seems certainly light on his feet. He almost seems to have footwork about him as he moves, though it could definitely use some refining and maybe a little guidance. Um, but he definitely tries to employ some of the advice he was given um, from the Red Branch Knights that he practiced with not too long ago um, with with Misha and Salome. Um, his skill work with a dagger though is modest at best. Um, he almost seems like he is he you could tell that he seems to have a certain liking for the weapon itself, but there's just something holding him back. Maybe it's doubt, maybe it's the fact that he's not as practiced with it as he would like to be. He's almost seems to be afraid to um, take the initiative, maybe not uh, going in for a strike when he catches an opening, um, or pairing when he needs to parry. Needless to say, that Alice probably catches him in the hand, in the wrist, quite often. Um, each time um, that this happens, it's met with a quiet hiss, almost like air escaping through a crack in the wall. Um, and if she's paying attention, almost a slightly pained look on his face, but it doesn't seem to detract him from trying. Um, he most likely because um, he knows these are not real blades. If he knew these were real blades, he'd probably be a little bit more worried. Um, but either way, he definitely tries to, at least try to keep up with her, though it's clear that she is the dominant one in this situation.
Currently, Alice has a spear in hand and is uh, takes a stab at his feet. Left.
And when she says that, he steps left, or he moves to the left, or yeah, I'm assuming that's what she means.
Hmm.
So yeah, he'll quickly sidestep to the left, and once she um, says that and kind of like does the thrust, he tries to step inside of her, seeming that that's the only real way to well, at least get inside to be closer to her since he's wielding a knife, and keeping her as close as possible is probably his best bet considering she has a spear. Um, there's no way he would win at the long game.
Uh, as soon as he goes in again, she will knock it aside, thrust it forward, um, going up over his shoulder. That was good.
Yeah, I don't know. These spears are quite tricky. Requires a lot of work to get inside.
True. And since neither of us have the speed of Wayfarer, she says, leaning in again and this time swinging with the butt end of the staff, of the spear, kind of like a staff,
Hmm.
slow enough that he would be able to block it.
Yeah, he'll he'll take the kind of make the blade kind of do like a shift where it's an underhanded grip, and so way he can hold his hand up to kind of run the blade along his wrist to have more stability and to block the incoming strike with the end of the stave. Wayfarer would definitely be definitely help in this situation, but then again, I this is much more akin to what I had in mind. I need more natural skill. The cantrips and stuff would be best to, you know, augment that for an advantage.
I definitely agree. One of the problems with fighting someone like me is I can make it harder for you to do anything, easier for myself to do something, and I can fight you at range.
I can understand the range, but what do you mean otherwise? You talking about through a cantrip?
I am.
Which one is that?
Two, I can set you on fire, and then I can create a field of joy. And last I checked, you don't get a lot of fun out of a fight.
Mm, so you would make me succumb to battle lust, or he kind of quirks a brow. He kind of
No,
understands the being set on fire thing, but he kind of quirks a brow at at her about the joy part.
I'm a Clarichan. For me, being in the middle of a fight is almost the most natural thing in the world.
Oh yeah, I almost forgot about that.
Most people do.
I've heard stories where they say you could get to know someone the most by fighting them. Is that true?
Very true. Especially when you know a few tricks like I do.
Hmm, interesting. Well, are you sure that's not telling somebody the truth or just proving that you're a trickster?
What it proves, she says, spinning the staff above her head and then rotating it over her back as she leans forward slightly. What it proves is that I must have other tricks up my sleeve because a master doesn't tell their student everything. Not at first.
Hmm. It almost seems like you're pulling a excerpt from Darth Plagueis the Wise.
Darth. Oh, is that like that Star Trek stuff my husband's always talking about?
Star Wars, actually. Darth Plagueis was the mentor to Darth Sidious, the one from the movies. But yeah, probably the same thing. Probably what you that's probably what you mean. Not Star Trek though. Though that is also is interesting.
So your knives,
Hmm.
they have a lot of advantages in the fight, but those advantages quickly evaporate unless you know how to how to what's the word? Utilize them properly.
And he'll hold the knife out, kind of like in his hand, and look at it, and then look at her. Well, I mean, I do know that I have to stay in as close as possible, and I do know that blade length is a thing, and I can easily be overtaken by somebody with a longer sword and a shield and maybe even a spear.
Absolutely. Things to worry about. So, how do you get around that?
Hiding and striking when the time is most convenient.
True. That can work for some. Do you think it would work on me? She says, doing the one arm out, come at me, motion.
Maybe if we are in the dark. Also, maybe if you weren't already suspecting me to be here. It all depends. Maybe I would wait for you to engage if I was a Nervosa, and then I would come in taking advantage of the situation and striking when they're not aware. Or
Normally,
perhaps,
normally that's a very good idea, but I've learned tricks for getting around that too.
well,
Shadows don't scare me.
oh, interesting.
Also, I was thinking something a little bit more mundane. She says doing a backflip and then pulling two daggers from her belt, throwing them. Of course, they're poorly balanced. These are practice daggers, but
Hmm.
throwing them to his left and right
Hmm.
before landing from the backflip.
And when she does that, he'll kind of like hop up on one foot and kind of bring up another foot, like curling up like he's trying to do like a crane kick, but like more like a shocked one. Like, and he's just like, like
Yeah.
kind of taken aback. Wasn't expecting that.
She will put her foot underneath her spear and kick it back up to herself, catching it one handed.
All right, so I need some kind of ranged weapon too. I assume.
You already have them, she says, nodding towards the knives in his hand.
Oh, excuse me. Yes, you're right. I guess I was thinking of something a little bit more subtle.
Well, they are pretty subtle. I mean, I'm not going to notice you carrying 5 or 6 knives on your person.
I don't know. There's a certain type of there's like this small sociopathic smile on his black lips when you talk about carrying like 6 knives. Hmm. I guess you're right, but I think I would still prefer something even more subtle than that. I still want to get my blowgun, Alice.
I understand. But in a one on one confrontation like this,
That's true.
a throwing
Hmm.
knife might be a better idea.
Hmm. Yeah, but also a poison tip dart would be even better. And then you hit them, they get poisoned, they go down. You just kind of end the fight there.
True, but that's more of attacking from shadows. You should have a multitude of options.
Hmm. What else could I do other than knives and maybe? Hmm.
Well, where I'm from, throwing stars are a thing.
I don't think I've ever tried throwing stars.
They are very difficult.
They seem like it.
Another option is a gun.
But they're so loud and unwieldy.
That's why I prefer magic, she says, twirling her finger.
That's true, but it also costs glamour, usually.
Usually, she says with a wink.
Yeah, I'm still working on my my magic.
She'll nod at that. So, in the meantime, maybe throwing knives. I mean, you have plenty of cutlery at your shop.
I do. Just don't look behind the counter. There's a lot there. That's between you and I.
So, another thing to consider is we'll be fighting as a team most of the time. So, getting behind the target.
That is true. And I imagine that's where my um, treasure would help the most, at least.
Well, potentially. So what we're working on is more of the healing, just in case, and being able to change your form.
Oh, right. Excuse me. I think I was thinking of the first iteration that we had spoken of. Got you. Either
But
way, I have magic that could help.
mhm, you have magic, and I might have something that'll help.
What do you mean? What else other than the treasure?
Um, well, more than even treasure, more than arts or other forms of magic that we might be able to name.
More. I'm sorry, you find me at a lack of words to ask. May I ask that you just be pointed?
Uh, English is not always my best, so have you considered those? The police use them. Bright lights. They're kind of like explosives, only they're meant to be loud and obnoxious.
Flashbangs?
Yes, those.
Hmm. Oh man, I can just imagine how that would wreck my hearing.
Oh, right. She says her hand goes over her mouth.
His eyes like it just almost do like that spiral like anime thing just thinking about it like just thinking about it makes him nauseous and disoriented. Uh
Oh, we could get you something fashionable then. Maybe that'll help.
what, to cover my ears?
No, to cover your movements.
Oh, I mean, I thought that's I mean the treasure, well, I guess the treasure doesn't really affect my dress, does it? Just
Well, it'll so like my treasure does, it changes my outfit into my magical girl one. What if we incorporated a cloak into yours?
I think that would be a cool idea. I saw that Nathaniel had one.
Could be pretty effective.
And I can add a lot of pockets to it as well.
hmm And if push comes to shove, there's always trash cans. I mean, I've had to use a few on occasion.
Trash cans, like with the lid or something?
hmm
Oh, as like a buckler.
Improvised buckler right there.
Hmm, that's fair. I'll have to talk to Nathaniel to see if maybe he would make me one.
In the meantime, we can just get you a cloak on the outfit, and whenever you transform,
Hmm, I think that'll be cool.
I do too.
Nobody else would have a cloak.
Nope, everyone else prefers Feymail, sheep plate, no armor at all. She's just motioning at herself.
Yeah, I don't know how you. Well, I can understand you not using, it, but I just can't stand other people liking that bulky stuff on them.
They, it's bulky armor isn't as bad. The problem comes more into over reliance.
Hmm, interesting. It's just like to me, it just feels like you're trading. Uh, at least it just feels like you're just adding more weight. It almost feels like putting the weight of the gray world on you and taking it around with you. I don't know. It just I just rather not. It just makes me feel sick.
I understand. It's it's unique. I'll say that.
I think it's just because of who I am, like being slow. We tend to like to be free and don't like to be weighed down or bottled up. If that makes sense.
It does. Well, don't worry. We'll figure out something. And besides, the ability to regenerate, it's a big help when you're not wearing armor, she says, tapping her wrist. Last time I got into a sword fight, I got run straight through, so
Yeah.
warning, it doesn't hurt less just because you can heal it.
You just see him bring his hands up to his mouth, kind of like just covering them for a laugh. Like at least what you would assume is a laugh. You don't really hear anything from him. You just see like that whole juggling of the shoulders, like one does when they're laughing really good. Yeah, that's what you see from him. I apologize. I do not mean to laugh at your expense.
No, it's fine. It was my own fault.
What'd you do?
Got into a duel I shouldn't have, and then ended up getting backed in the corner and having to go all out.
Hmm. Who are you fighting?
A she knight who was just passing through.
What drove you to fight a knight passing through?
That is a long and complicated story.
Hmm.
I'll save it for um a different occasion.
Fair enough. Hmm. You always seem to find trouble, Alice.
I had a friend once who pointed that out. Wherever I go, something big was bound to happen.
Hmm.
So that brings me to the next thing I wanted to share with you.
Okay.
Follow me.
All right. And
She will lead him out towards another part of town.
mm-hmm.
They'll take an Uber.
Uber.
Uh, it's in Queens. It's Koreatown.
Mm-hmm.
Um, well, Chinatown, Koreatown, Japanese town, depending on which ethnicity you are.
Mm-hmm.
She'll lead you in, find you, get to her place, and then it's a modest apartment. Walks in, takes off her shoes at the entrance,
Yeah, Caldwell will basically follow the same um, protocol.
and will lead him to the back, where there's a small room with a television, decorated with all sorts of anime posters on the walls. Um, Not as many as you'd expect, and it looks like, judging by some of the bare spots, some of them have been removed from this room over time.
Hmm. Is this your room?
It is. This is my parents' house. Well, apartment.
Is your parents here?
Oh no, they're working.
Aren't they gonna
They
be?
run a noodle shop.
Oh, are they gonna be okay that I'm here? Like,
Mm, it's fine. It's fine. More importantly, there's something here you need to see.
okay.
All right. So, to be a magical girl requires three things. Three very important things.
I'm listening.
First, you have to be ready for a fight. And not just against people, even though that's what I'm training you on right now. Eventually, you're going to need techniques to combat nightmares directly.
Hmm.
Most people prefer to go the path of Dragon's Ire for one reason or another. I mean, you've seen what William can do with it. I prefer the way of Pyretics. There's the Art of Winter, many different paths. But you're going
Well,
to need to take one of them. And then finally, you need to be knowledgeable.
yeah, I was gonna ask you about that. I was gonna ask if you could tell me about the things that you fight.
Absolutely. So she says, rifling through her closet, this one, and this one, and this one, and this one. Here you go. She pulls out a bag, puts a bunch of DVDs cases in it, and hands it to him.
Hmm. What are these?
Magical girl animes.
These. This is how you're gonna tell me how you fight the monsters you fight out there?
Hmm. So I know not all of them are going to be useful, but it gives you a vague idea of what I do.
Okay.
More importantly, it gives us a medium on which to discuss certain topics.
Hmm. Okay. Like what? What do you mean? What kind of topics?
Well, if I say Nervosa, do you know what Nervosa is?
Basically an errant nightmare, right?
But it's kind of like when I learned another language. Sure, that's the meaning, but what comes to your mind? What do you imagine?
Hmm. Mm, a big squid-faced black cloud of nastiness?
And that's why you're going to watch these videos, so you'll have some images to relate to.
Hmm.
Because a black cloud of inky darkness is pretty vague, don't you think?
Well, figured it'd be best to just be general, but
Hmm.
yeah, I understand your meaning now.
Visuals. Visuals are important, and also the dreaming tends to conform to what we expect.
Hmm.
I find cartoonish nightmares a lot easier to fight.
They don't seem so cartoonish when you fight them for real, though. When you honestly fight them, or
Yes and no. The stakes are higher,
hmm.
but that just means it's all the more fun.
I don't know about fun, but we'll see.
I'm not saying that you should pick fights with everyone. I'm just saying, why not take some joy in what work you do? Like your tea house.
Yeah, but that's not as dangerous, and it's rather creative.
So is what I do.
Hmm.
You'll find that it is dangerous, just in a way that you might not normally consider dangerous. Being a tea house owner, aren't you afraid of banality? Or even with it being a creative endeavor, making a mistake, even failing. You don't bring in a certain amount of revenue during a month, during a few consecutive months, and then poof, the dream is gone.
Hmm. I guess it must be much the same when you fight these monsters with just
Hmm.
the higher stakes, I guess.
Well, death, but we're nothing more than dreams.
Hmm.
Living sentient dreams.
Yeah, but I would really like to make a point of staying living, though.
Just like you'd like your the dream to keep the shop alive. So, in my mind, it's not very different.
I guess so. I guess it still seems like two different levels, though. Uh, I'm fighting customers who want things and beating up tea leaves, and these are full-blown grown monsters of the imagination who want to kill you
Hmm.
forever.
Can you honestly tell me if your tea shop were to fail, if the real enemies, it's not the customers who are your enemies. What about those nasty food critics or health inspectors or banal bureaucrats? What if the President of the United States tomorrow puts in some sort of weird tariff on tea? I mean, I don't think that'll ever happen, but what if it did?
That would practically kill my way of life. At
And would you
least the human side of way of life.
and would that not take away a part of you?
It would. It really would.
So it sounds like the stakes are the exact same. It's just one of them looks more familiar. She says with a broader grin.
I really hate arguing with you. For one, you're too cute, and two, you make too much sense sometimes.
Thank you. And it's how I stay calm when I'm in the middle of a fight. Don't think I'm not scared too.
You certainly don't show it.
Well, because if I show it, I'm making the nightmare stronger, she says, chuckling.
Fair enough. how many hours are on each of these DVDs?
Um, if you're going to go for like a Netflix style binge, give yourself a few weekends.
Wow. Okay. Fair enough. I'll try to get through them as much as possible. It shouldn't be too hard. I have a really good memory.
Great. And I'll share everything I know about enchantments with you. As much as I know about nightmares, my specialty are enchantments, good or bad.
Hmm. That'll be good to know as well.
hmm Why do you think I was able to break a legendary curse on Baku?
Oh, that was you?
That was me.
Oh, right, you did tell me that. And here I told you I had good memory. Fair enough. Well, I look forward to that. I really do. And I do appreciate, and he holds up the bag, all of this.
hmm And once we get your physical capabilities on the level you feel you want, I'll move on to teaching you some little tricks I know.
Okay. But I wanted to ask you too, like, what kind of magic do you think I should focus on? I am, I am working on autumn. That seems to resonate with me the most. And I was thinking about winter as well. I just, I don't know.
First place you probably should start is being able to target nightmares themselves, being able to affect and interact with them.
Wouldn't that be the realm of the Fae?
She nods.
I have been working on that as well. Or at least trying to.
And I'll do what I can to aid you in that. That should be, before you worry about anything else, be able to understand what you're fighting.
Well, with these DVDs and more of your expertise and a lot of hours sunk into these, I think that'll come with time. I'm also
Mhm.
going to try to visit Vanessa's library. I heard that she's quite the collector.
She is indeed. And there's much there that even I don't know. That's that said, I have at least one secret I don't think you're going to find much therein.
Hmm. It all depends. Do you want to tell me it, or
I do. Um, Tulane. I know about the Tulane.
the Shadow Court? If my memory serves me correctly.
What's a shadow court?
Nah, I thought the Tulane were part of the Shadow Court. The Shadow, basically, our darker selves.
Um, the only darker I know of are Unseelie.
Hmm. I might just be confusing my information. I don't know. I
The Tulane are more. They are the. If Unseelie are dark and Seelie are light, then the Tulane are more. No, that's a bad way to put it. If this, if the Seelie are light and the Unseelie are shadow, then the Tulane would be darkness itself, a complete absence of light or shadow, because there cannot be shadows without light, and there can't be light without shadows, because then we don't know what light is.
correct. Interesting.
They're like our dark cousins. And when we were fighting a goblin, it was important to look up information. I think I'm one of the few who researched into it, but I can share with you anything I know. I've been trying to compile more information from my husband's library. House Beaumain are renowned Tulane hunters, and so they have extensive information on them.
Mm. Well, whatever information that you feel that you can impart on me without infringing on your house's um, information to give to a commoner, then I'd be glad to receive it.
You know, I'm not part of House Beaumain, right? My husband is, not me.
But you are married to him.
Hmm. And you're a Slua. I'm failing to see any connections.
Sorry, I just figured that since you're married to him, that such
Information
benefits.
is privileged or not available.
Yes.
You really need to come to more of our lore fairs we hold.
You hold lore fairs here?
Lore, grimoires, um, ancient texts, languages, histories, enchantments.
Please don't say any more. I'm going to faint. When are these?
We hold them once a month, and we hold them at a coffee shop that we usually, well, that we own. And after hours, we just gather there and trade coffee and information. We don't get a lot of comers from outside of Manhattan, unfortunately. Lots of mistrust or people not willing to share what they know. The only stipulation is be willing to share something you know. That's it.
Hmm. I was going to ask if there were any stipulations. I
That was it.
figured that's the case. Usually that is the case. Knowledge for knowledge.
And and whatever anyone considers a fair trade, we encourage everyone. At least I give away information for free.
Hmm.
And if you need financial help, I'm the girl to go to.
As far as dross or real world money.
Yes,
Hmm. How lucrative is that for you?
since very few people in the city trust me. Not very.
Hmm. Do you have any connections with merchants?
Yes.
I my my little friend at home, my pet spider, Silk, she has been very busy balling up spindles of silk, and I think that I should be able to sell them um, for a good amount of dross.
Then there's somewhere we both need to go. We're going to need to make some arrangements. We're going
Where's
back to Goblin Town.
well, she just started, so I still need. I'd rather go when I have something to sell, but because she has definitely started.
So, do you have any samples?
Um, Not on me here now.
Well, no, I mean, so she's made some already.
She has started on a spindle of silk.
Well, then the time is now with some of the samples that she's already made.
Hmm,
That's
fair
when
enough.
you want to look for buyers.
Hmm.
Or if you really want to expand your business, investors.
Hmm. I mean, truth be told, if that's the case, I really only need more spiders.
And You're selling in bulk, right?
Um, I mean, I don't know. I didn't think that far ahead. I was thinking about just selling it by the bolt.
Not bad. Wholesale always makes a good profit, but it's the added value that really earns the dross.
Hmm.
Oh my god.
Huh?
I just happen to know a newly born she who happens to be a famous, or at least was at an art school, and we met him, Sir
Oh,
Bishop,
yes, I remember
remember?
him. Yes, I
Yeah.
remember him.
So, what do
Hmm.
you bet that he knows how to make some fancy looking clothes?
I would bet a lot of money on that.
And how much do you want? How much dross would you bet that there's a lot of nobles who live in this county?
Hmm. I mean, if that's the case, then I'm gonna need a lot more spiders to fulfill that.
No, make it exclusive. Only one or two of the most famous nobles in the city can get their hands on your designs, your quality silk.
I don't. I mean, I don't really know about the quality. It just started making it. I figured I could just sell it.
It doesn't matter if it's actually high quality, it just matters that no one else can get it and everyone
Hmm.
else is saying it's high quality. Caviar tastes terrible, but rich people seem to like it.
Are
And
you
then,
sure you're not unseelie?
no, I'm just financially sound.
Why? It just sounds so uncouth.
There's
It's
no
not that okay.
dishonor.
I mean, I don't care about honor, to be honest with you. I don't even care about it being uncouth. It's just interesting. That's all.
All right, the difference between Sealy and unsealy is a very thin line.
Hmm. Fair enough.
And last I checked, nowhere in there does it say, in either code, honestly sell people clothes and do not use financial tricks or advertising to win them over. Look, I bet you've heard of a company known as Wells Fargo.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that they started with just one office
I figure most places start with one office.
to handle an entire international financial empire that they didn't have?
They
They
didn't.
didn't they didn't have it. They didn't even have a single advertisement. They relied on word of mouth and the fact that they were so exclusive, they were in only one location and were only willing to take very specific people to be their banking interest.
Hmm.
And now look at them.
Yeah, but I understand. Trust me. It's just funny because they're just mostly creating scams and stuff. It seems.
Well, considering they were founded on a scam,
He just chuckles lightly.
and it's not really costing them anything. In the long run, they're making back more than they lose in fines. So, want to be business partners?
Hmm. What do you have in mind?
Well, I have two things I can trade on. One, I know finances. I know finances better than almost everyone in the city.
Hmm.
Two, I'm famous.
Truth be told, I was thinking that you might ask for some silk to have something made so you can use it to advertise with.
Mhm. Especially since there's an exclusive ball that I'm going to be attending soon.
Hmm.
One that I'm preparing Shea for, which is why I'm shutting asked for a little bit of your time at the restaurant, or sorry, tea house.
That's what that's for. What's this ball?
Um, well, I know that Shea has had some difficulties with the county. So I was thinking if there was some sort of charity ball that we put on that would go towards paying for, I don't know, hungry people living in some sort of street location.
Hmm.
I don't see why Baroness Mariposa would say no.
Hmm.
And it would give Shea a chance to shine. It would also give you a chance to sparkle.
I don't know if I'm about being at a ball. I no, I don't want to do all that.
No, but that's perfect because all we need to sparkle is your silk. And if Sir Bishop is willing to assist, something he designs.
Hmm. That I can do.
And then you become the mysterious and reclusive Slua, sitting at a web of silk and a silk empire that stretches from one coast to another.
Hmm.
Don't laugh, it worked for the Turks.
No, I think I was just more imagining sitting on a large web. It just certain warm feeling. I'm sorry, but I understand what you mean. Hmm. I think I like this idea. I'm not one driven by cupidity. I'll tell you that. I'm not. I don't. I need dross right now because I need it, not because I want it. But if it could help,
And you're going to need more of it in the future,
yes,
not just for the freehold,
that is true.
because we don't know what's going to happen next.
Well, the only thing is where to keep us all this copious, if assuming we do well, where to keep all this dross, at least protected.
Well, most of it's going to go pretty fast. Buy yourself some Fame Ale. It's light and not bulky.
Hmm.
Maybe get yourself some uh she crafted daggers from, I don't know, house whatever. Or maybe get some made by knockers if you're willing to, take some risks.
Hmm. I don't know. They look too much like clowns. I don't like clowns. They really make me uncomfortable.
I understand. Kinda.
I mean, come on. With the painted faces. Ugh.
So when you get to this one, she says, pointing at Puella Magi Madoka Magica. Um, have the lights on. That would be my advice.
I guess I should be honest and tell you that I don't need light. My eyes adjust automatically.
It's more of you don't like clowns. She says, patting him on the shoulder.
There's clowns in that.
Um,
So
witches, witches that kind of look like clowns.
Oh my gosh.
Terrifying clown. You know, like those clowns in the Jack in the Box, the ones that pop out and go, um, whatever weird, two 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 two.
Yeah, and you don't need to do all that. You're killing me, Alice, with this. Are you
Well,
sure I have to watch this?
um, she counts on her fingers. 4. I've had to fight 4 clown nightmares.
That sounds like the worst thing in the world. I'm not going to be able to do that. That sounds even worse than fighting regular Novosa. I don't. I don't.
Wait till I tell you about Chaxine,
Who?
the unholy amalgamation of a dear friend, long past, not long, but she died a few months ago. But she had merged for a short time with Sir Cararis to become Chaxine, an unholy hybrid of Puka and she.
Oh, right.
And
The puka that you, Misha, William, Charles are all connected to.
mhm, the
Understand.
one whose death changed everything.
Hmm. I
The world will
apologize for
never.
all this.
No, it's fine. Things happen. Sometimes sometimes you can't control what happens.
Yeah, this seems to be the truth. As much as that is truth, it is also equally dreaded. Well, I don't want to get all sad. This has been probably the most fun I had in a long time.
I'm glad.
Me too. Have you oh, we had the scouting mission with the werewolves.
And
It was interesting. They're not very fun to work with. They're very strictly business. But whatever um the world that they have, something like the dreaming, but they call it I heard it referred to as several things, the reflection or the umbra. Umbra seemed more official though. That is an amazing place. Everything there is alive, it seems. From the trees to the clouds to insects, even the elements themselves. It was
so
absolutely wondrous.
so the land of Kami.
From going by your explanations, yes, something similar to that, I would assume.
A place where mortals are not supposed to tread.
I did not see a single mortal there, at least aside from the werewolves.
Well, if you were present, she says, pointing at him, I'm pretty sure you're mortal.
Well, excuse me, yeah. Well, when we crossed the line, we actually reverted to our Famians, our face selves.
Still, you are a filthy ningen.
A what?
Mortal. It's Japanese for mortal. It just has the connotation of being more earthly.
Mm.
I mean, we are nothing more than dreams that we are made of.
Do you know what dreams you were made from?
I don't know, but I can wager a guess, she says, pulling out a Zippo. If you haven't seen my solution to 90% of the problems in the world, death, set it on fire. Life, set it on fire.
Fair enough. It is a recurring theme with you.
It is. It also is important to hide what else I can really do.
What is that?
Well, what I'm meant to do lead. Lead by example, lead by action, and lead by fixing everything.
Hmm. Maybe that's almost why I forgot that you're a clericon. You sound so much like a she, but more more of a good one, if that makes sense. I guess
There are
the way it should be.
there are many commoner kids who hold noble titles. I can name, I think, five in Brooklyn, whether they admit to it or not.
I think I can point those out.
So kid doesn't matter. It's the person, what they're doing. That's what defines the noble. That's why I don't refer to commoners or nobles. I refer to people. That's
How
why I don't
does
separate us from the mortals.
hmm, how does your husband take all this?
He married me, so you tell me.
Hmm.
He appreciates that I refer to him as a person, not as a she. That I give him respect because he's a person, not because he had to earn something from me. Yes, people have to earn trust, but they shouldn't have to earn human decency, basic respect.
Hmm. I guess I can agree to that. I guess I just find it hard to believe sometimes, considering just how much Slua have gone through over the ages, considering everything that happened with the shattering, and from then on, we don't get as treated as badly as the Redcaps, but at least where I came from, anyways. Here is definitely much different. Everything seems, especially with Brooklyn, almost egalitarian.
Brooklyn is unique. I will not say they're egalitarian yet.
Hmm. I guess the contrast is just so different. I guess it just seemed that way to me.
I mean, egalitarian. Then everyone earns their position because of merit. They're a republic, though, not a meritocracy. The most accomplished don't become the leaders. It's whoever's voted into office.
Hmm.
So the most popular,
But they make it seem like everything is based off merit.
well, they would claim that they worked harder to get elected,
Hmm.
that they are truly the best ones to lead because everyone chose them to lead. That's what they base their merit on. But then they're just changing the word merit, unless I'm mistaking English.
Hmm. I don't think so.
So while William's my brother, and while I don't have any issue with the way they're doing things, it's why I also argue they're not a meritocracy. They're a democracy, or specifically a republic.
Hmm.
Their modeling might be based on a meritocracy. I don't know that.
Mhm. They seem really bent on at least continuing what they've done so far and recruiting members that they believe would add to that.
Well, so far I've seen them try to recruit literally everyone they've ever met, including she.
Hmm. Everyone they met.
Everyone they met.
Hmm.
Even Misha made a pitch to Sir Bishop, even if it wasn't as heartfelt.
What do you mean?
Well, when they first met, she said you could always come to Brooklyn, see what it's like for yourself. That's their pitch.
Hmm.
It's not a bad one.
I don't know if that's meant literally or not though. You know
No,
what I
they
mean?
well, they at least they profess and they've made speeches about how everyone's welcome and they want everyone to come and everyone to see it.
Hmm.
And they offer hospitality to anyone who shows up. That it's always open and free, barring a security clearance check, essentially.
Hmm.
I mean, they are some of the most uh, dedicated to the concept of security.
Well, They seem to have worked very hard for what they've done so far. I can understand that. It's almost as I would almost equate it to how Slua cultivate their secrets mm, and not want to give it away to at least to any old person.
Hmm.
Hmm. Can I tell you something?
Absolutely.
They asked me to join their motley.
Did you say yes?
I told them that I needed to think about it, if only because, for one, I wanted to see where we go, and I like where we're going so far, and I like the trust that we seem to be building with each other. Though I have some doubts, considering that you are married to a noble. I don't know if you could really create a motley, but rules can always be bent, and if anything, I could always create an oath. where I could always oath to you to help you and be your friend. But they also told me something else about Puck, and I'm very distraught and upset about it. And it's something very serious amongst the Slua, and um, it's really disappointing because I was really liking her. Um,
I'm going to say it's not a bad idea to join their motley. For one, I can form motleys, I can be a part of them, but I know for a fact that what that means for anyone who forms a motley with me. There's a degree of trust that isn't there between me and many of the uh, Council of Brooklyn.
I mean, that's good and all, but and they've been really nice to me, and I appreciate them so much. But we've had something going on first, and I don't know what I can do with Puck yet, simply by the nature of what I've heard. So I don't know if I could do that with all three of us, but at the very least, eventually, if we're both comfortable, I wouldn't mind creating an oath to fight by your side and to be there for you.
And vice versa.
Sorry, that was really hard to say.
No, it's fine. Trust me, I know. There's a lot of there's a lot of bad blood between um, Williams Motley and Puck, and that Motley is a very tight knit group. You anger one of them, you've now officially angered all of them.
Yes, it's very one for all for one over there.
Mhm. Right or wrong, they'll stand by each other, thick and thin.
Yeah, which is why I'm trying to take what they say, at least what they said and what they told me that Puck did, especially to what happened was apparently that Nathaniel, a fellow Slua, has a very particular issue, um, and that issue was triggered, and it caused him to undergo some physical trauma. And when asked to stop what she was doing, she made no care to do so, or took no care to do so. And that is very. Slua are, might as well be, we might as well say we're also like Brooklyn in that sense. We could hate each and every one of us, but we also have each other's back. And if you anger one of us, you anger all of us. Or if you hurt one of us, you hurt all of us. And to hear something like that when everything was going so great with her, it just it's just very so oh so very disappointing.
I understand.
I'm not one to also take it to heart because for right now it is hearsay. But I have no reason to discount what they say. But I wouldn't be Slua if I at least verified the information.
Gonna ask Puck yourself?
That is true. That is true. My thing is, if I ask her this, I don't want to cause problems between her and Brooklyn anymore. And what's there?
That's that will never be going away. And has nothing to do with anything you say.
Hmm, I hope so.
Brooklyn is consolidating. And William is William. William's not going to settle for Brooklyn.
What do you mean? He's gonna try to expand?
No, not necessarily. But I mean, he was there for the Baku meeting, and that just didn't. He wants to change the world, even if it just means changing everyone's dream.
Hmm.
I'm I'm just worried about them, or at least William. Frankly, I don't know what Misha is doing, and I haven't spoken with Amber in a while, except to talk about a freeway system.
Well, I mean, for the most part, they all seem to be doing well, as you can expect. But
Mhm. Outreach to the Bronx and everything,
right.
which will be our next avenue of training.
Reaching out to people.
No, combating dark trods.
Oh,
They're as dangerous. Remember that trod we were clearing out before?
yes.
And remember how I was acting somewhat nonchalant because that didn't seem very dangerous to me?
Mm-hmm.
Dark trods are dangerous to me.
To you
To me.
specifically.
Hmm. To people who are as good at fighting nightmares as I am.
Hmm.
They're dangerous for us. Which is why last time I went down one, I was very glad to have backup. So no, it won't just be you and me. There'll be a group of us. But it is something we need to look into.
So I just have to recruit the others into helping us look into it because it's truly everybody's problem.
Hmm. But we have to get rid of that Nervosa first. First and foremost. Dark trods are bad because things can leave them. But a Nervosa already on the loose, that's even worse. So it'll have to be till after our concert.
Speaking of which, do you know what the clicking noise is? Is that what that clicking noise was?
That is what the clicking noise is.
Okay. Well, at least I have a frame of reference to go off now, and I know exactly what that is.
Hmm. And I'm sure that everything will be fine. I mean, between you, William, and Hall, I have the best hearing, the best sneaking, and The best make it dead in the city, so, because as you know, I can't do it myself.
But you're like Superwoman.
If Superwoman had a Count Leon in charge of her, who made it very clear I am not to handle this in the way that I am accustomed to.
Well, you are as much as a. You do have a certain way of being very loud with things, very bright with things. I think that's just because it's your nature, who you are. You have a very bright spirit.
And it's why you're going to be the perfect partner in crime. Not actual crimes, of course.
I mean, I'm not opposed to actual crimes.
Oh, then actual crimes, of course, because, breaking and entering and stabbing Nervosa tends to be illegal.
Yeah, but it's Nervosa.
hmm And if you have to pick between the Nervosa killing people or killing the Nervosa, you can see what I'll pick.
Yeah, well, I'll definitely have your back, that's for sure.
And I'll have yours. And with your magical girl costume, we'll both make it out alive. And if we both die, then why were we fighting that? I mean, I can bring us back to life and it somehow killed us permanently, right?
Hmm.
Then everyone's going to be like, why did they go and fight the thing that can kill things that are immortal? And then the tales will be sung and will be made fun of, and it'll just be terrible.
I don't care. Anybody can say what they want to say.
You're
I've
telling
already.
me
Hmm?
a slua is okay with nasty rumors being told and not knowing the source?
Oh, we will find out the source one way or another. Whether they say or not, we don't care.
Makes sense.
And that's fine. Because as much as they say, we can probably say just as much as about that person, if not more, and also make it public in a way that they would not appreciate. How would you like it if somebody found out your true Fae name and everybody knew it? Have fun with that.
I'd probably destroy it, she says with a grin.
Your name?
hmm From someone's memory.
Hmm. Well,
I
but
can.
what if everybody knew it? That's a different problem.
No, that's just a longer problem. Okay, if you if you want to find a way to get at someone who has pyretics and happens to know just how far she can take it, rumors, innuendo, that's not going to work. We can illuminate that. Nasty rumors and use of our true name, we can break those curses.
Hmm.
I don't know,
Well,
put a sneak ultra high fat hamburger into my diet somehow.
well, kind of took the fun out of that now.
hmm I'll always take the fun out of that. Nasty rumors of my true name. That's not going to scare me.
Well, maybe not you, but that was just a like a small example. I mean, finding out somebody's true name is not exactly an easy feat.
Yeah, you'd have to be some sort of naming master, I bet.
Well, probably.
And then there's well, Giant monsters. It's the small ones you have to worry about.
Yeah, they'll be much more subtle, and they don't seem to bring about a certain amount of attention as the bigger ones do.
Pretty much. All right, she says, getting up and brushing off her shorts. Enough sitting. Let me get you lunch.
Hmm.
There's a well, I don't want to go to my parents' noodle shop. There's some street food. Uh, chicken on a stick?
That should be fine.
Sounds great. And we need to get together again sometime.
Sure, I've been having a good time with these and getting to know you better.
Well, I'm an open book.
Hmm, that is true.
Never
Well,
understood the love of secrets. I mean, I know it's your kid's specialty and all, but for me, I mean,
hmm. Well, it does bring about a certain. It definitely brings out the truth to people, though. I think with you, you're about as honest as a fire. There's no real secret to what fire does and what it is. And there's nothing wrong with that. Some people are just like that.
makes life easier for me. Though it's funny how many people think I have some closet full of skeletons, I think is the phrase.
Hmm. Everybody tends to have one or two, no matter how big or small those skeletons might be. But who knows? Fires are all consuming.
Pretty much. And if I ever had a secret I needed to sign to the grave, I know exactly what to do with it.
What's that?
Set it on fire.
I knew you were gonna say that. I just wanted to hear you say it.
Come on, let's go, she says, offering him a hand to help him up.
Yeah, he'll take her hand and he'll grab at the sack of DVDs and kind of like throw it over his shoulder like Santa Claus does with his basket of or not basket bag of like gifts.
Uh, to end, then Alice would take him out for some street food, showing him some places that she likes to go to in Chinatown, some food that she likes to eat. Shows him some good places to go if he likes to drink. She can't, so she is merely showing from the outside, and
Yeah.
then finishes it up by departing, um, buying him a piece of candy in the form of mochi. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it's like a rice ball with a flour outer coating and a red bean paste inside.
Hmm.
Very sweet, despite what ingredients I just said.
Is
And
it really soft?
yeah, yeah, they're really soft, kind of gummy almost
Hmm.
when you're holding it, but when you bite into it, it you can taste its rice um, and the red bean paste.
Interesting. Okay.
And when he gets home and opens up the DVDs, he'll see that he has been gifted with a single Sailor Moon poster,
Uh, okay.
a gift that he would uh, likely understand. If does he have a decent changelings lore rating?
uh, two.
Then he knows that Cluricons, he doesn't know why, but have kind of a hoarding mentality. And
Hmm.
considering what he saw in her collections,
Hmm.
um, it must be a piece of her collection.
Oh, the missing one on the wall.
Exactly.
Oh. Aw.
And I think that's a perfect place to end, unless you have something else.
No, that's it.
All right, then thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. Hope everyone had a good time. And thus ends another game of Changeling the Dreaming 20th Anniversary Edition in the Living World of Darkness. Thank you.